In the early 2000s, the big mecha genre was really popping off. Full Metal Panic, Gundam Seed, Razafan, Van Dread, Age of Aquarian, Kitty Grade, Code Geass, Big O, Zoids, series after series of giant robots fighting each other. But Production IG had a different idea. They took all of the high-octane action of F-Zero and mashed it with Macross and aired it from October 2005 to August 2006. The Immortal Grand Prix. IGPX has grown exponentially in the realm of motorsports in the year 2048. Machines called IGs were popularized for their ability to go really fast, and an entire city was built to accommodate this growing industry of IG racing. These high-tech humanoid mechs race in teams of 3 at speeds greater than 350 miles per hour, along 60-mile-long gravity-defying tracks in a battle to be the best. And Takeshi Jin chases after the shadow of his idol, the legend Rocket G. He joins the failing Team Saotomi, and together with the strong-willed tomboy Liz Recaro, and the reserved supporter Amy Stapleton, and her co-pilot Luca, a cat, literally, the three of them seek to take Team Saotomi from last place to IGPX Grand Champions. This series is a drama about racing. First and foremost, everything else is secondary to that, and it's really good for one of Production IP's original creations. The series is broken up into 2 seasons at 13 episodes each with a runtime around 25 minutes each. It's a very simple layout in Season 1, an introduction to the protagonists and the plot. But the first episode throws us right into the crux of the story. Beginning in the latter part of a race Team Saotomi is already part of. An IG race is broken up into 3 laps. The first lap is pure race, kind of like NASCAR or Formula 1. But once you crest the second lap, that's when it goes from being just a race to basically robot roller derby. Combat is allowed, and while there are no guns or missiles, there is definitely punches thrown. The third lap allows the IGs to engage speed mode, which is effectively the mechs turning into just cars. And that's where it goes from roller derby to F-Zero. I could tell you now, if this was a real thing, it would be wildly popular. Teams are comprised of 3 different positions. The forward, whose job is simply go fast. The brawler, whose job is to interfere with the other teams, and the defender, whose job is to protect against brawlers. The race episode 1 throws us into shows us that Team Saotomi's forward, Takeshi Jin, is a hothead who doesn't play nice with his teammates. Due to his, behavior, Takeshi wins the race for Team Saotomi, and we're introduced not just to the major players in the cast, but also to the main plot of the show. Saotomi Michiru, the manager and owner of the team, wants to restore her grandfather's legacy, Team Saotomi, from near-defunct status to IGPX Grand Champions. Dubbed by Carrie Walgren, Saotomi is every bit the leader and businesswoman she appears to be, and I refuse to call her a girl boss because that's cringe, even if she has trouble securing sponsorships for her team. But that's not entirely her fault. After the awards and press are done, the team's brawler Liz Recaro, dubbed by Michelle Rodriguez, is trying to chew out Jin, voiced by Haley Joel Osment. Jin is just too aloof to her anger, and it doesn't seem that they're going to be getting anywhere. The team's defender, Amy Stapleton, dubbed by Hayden Welsh, remarks that they still won before Liz returns to trying to berate some sense into Jin. Fight breaks out. Saotomi walks in and breaks it up, reminding them that they still need sponsors. Silent character development before the opening of the new IGPX season. The other teams are introduced, and we get an introduction to the defending champion led by Alex Cunningham and dubbed by Steve Blum, one of several antagonists of the series. Other main characters being Masa Ishikawa, dubbed by Kirk Thornton, but credited as Mark Ramsey, Andrei Rublev, dubbed by Lance Henderson, River Markley, dubbed by Steve Staley, Yama, dubbed by Pre-Psychosis Mark Hamill, Fantine Valjean, dubbed by Karen Stessman. There's a mix of voices by industry veterans and some whose only role is IGPX that I know of. It's kind of weird to look at. Something really important to know about the series is that of its time, it's one of the first to actually blend 3D and 2D well. Not just the sense of speed the IG racing gives, But when Jin practices his swordsmanship, or when Liz does her martial arts, we get that cel-shaded blend that nowadays really clashes with the 2D environments. But production IG makes it look seamless to the point that you're not really paying attention to it, and you might not even realize it's CG if you're just kind of half paying attention to it in the first place. So as the new IGPX season commences, Sao Tome's first race is up against Team Sledge Mama, and Episode 1 closing out with the beginning of the race. Episode 2 starts off going hard with the announcer commentary. He's honestly one of the more entertaining characters in the series. And even on the racetrack, Jin and Liz are at each other's throat right out of the gate. Production IG really flexing their skills with the high-speed nature of the race itself, and the combat taking place at high speed. One of the things I really do like about the series is that the protagonists just don't constantly win. A good protagonist needs to fail sometimes to create depth. Even a Pyrrhic victory could be more impactful than just a straight-up loss, depending on how it impacts the story and characters. And in their debut race, that's exactly what it feels like. Aoi Himawari, dubbed by Julie Maddalena, and credited as Jesse Martin, seems ecstatic that their first IG race ended in a tie. The latter half of Episode 2 introduces the subplot of a romance between two forward pilots, Jin and Fantine. It's something that plays out from start to end on screen for us to see, with all the drama and business politics of two rival captains trying to be normal people but never being allowed to have a time off work. Such is the life of a celebrity, no matter what kind of celebrity you are. Strassman's French accent isn't great, but you know what? I'm thankful she at least tried to play it that way. Most other dubs don't actually play into the accent when it comes to non-American English-speaking characters. Something that kind of flies under the radar but is actually really impressive is Benjamin Bright, the voice of IGPX, who plays announcer and adds color commentary. He's voiced by Tom Kenny, who's much more well known for his work in American cartoons. This guy is the same voice as SpongeBob SquarePants and Ice King from Adventure Time. He has a long and storied history as an American VA, and it's wild to hear him in one of his 4 anime roles in his career. So what are the problems with the show? Well, every character has a story, and the flow of events doesn't really lend well to telling more of the personal stories than what's necessary. Like how Amy has workaholic parents and is neglected. It's kinda just shoehorned in early and never brought up again. Then there's Mark's manipulative mother halfway through season 1. It's basically brushed off as her being too clingy towards her son. These stories add depth to the characters, but most of the time it feels like it was almost an afterthought, just to push some purpose or possible relatability towards the characters. The only side stories that sufficiently get told would be the rivalry between Jin and River, and the romance between Jin and Fantine. But those both run central to the racing plot, and they're current rather than pretext, so it's natural that they would get more screen time. Also, Cunningham is kind of a flat character. Most of his act is just being a celebrity and veteran of the IG-1. He is the wall Jin has to climb, and not much else. But to that end, they did manage to pack quite a lot of story into a racing series about giant robots with only 26 episodes in total. It's the same length as the first season of Initial D and half the size of the 1967 Speed Racer. Thinking about the IG-1, I get this feeling in my gut that it would actually make a pretty decent 3-player racing game. But the crossover between racing and giant robots is probably far too niche for something that you could just mash F1 and Gundam together and have a successful product, I think. It really isn't a bad idea, I just can't see it being something that's mainstream popular. I mean, it might be YouTuber VTuber bait, but I think it would still be pretty cool. And that's really all there is about that. I am the NBT, this has been the Noble Weeaboo. And if you like mechs with racing and a bit of personal drama, you definitely should watch IGPX. You won't be disappointed.